Good morning. I'm Jeff Hammond, Executive Director at International Ground Source Heat Pump Association. Thank you for joining us for the June IGSPA Town Hall. We have this town hall sponsored by LoopTech Geothermal. LoopTech was our diamond sponsor for the 2023 conference. They're a driller and ground heat exchanger installer out of Texas, and we appreciate their sponsorship. Before we turn this over to our presenter this morning, I have just a few updates on IGSPA. I'll go through those and then we'll introduce our speaker. So the latest IGSPA news. First off, if you are interested in presenting at one of these town halls or Dig Deeper webinars, go to igspa.org, and we do have still a few slots left for 2024. You'll find a button on the home page called Training and Events Calendar, and you can submit an abstract there for either a town hall or a Dig Deeper. Town hall is a little more of a broad topic, and Dig Deeper is more of a technical topic. Exciting news about our next annual conference. We've pushed it back a few months from December to March. So our next conference is March 11th through the 13th, 2025 in Champaign, Illinois. We're working with Geothermal Alliance of Illinois on this conference. And we already have a lot going on. The hotel room block is about 40% full. Of course, there will be other hotels in the surrounding area if that block is full. But if you'd like to stay at the hotel and just walk down the hall to the conference, that's certainly the most convenient way to do it. We're now accepting abstracts for speakers. Registration's available. There is early bird pricing through January 31st. We also have sponsorship and exhibitor opportunities available now. The next step will be conference program advertising, which you should see in July. So things are really heating up for this conference. You'll want to make sure and check it out at igspa.org. We already have a number of sponsors, and we certainly could not do the conference without our sponsors, and we really appreciate everyone who has sponsored so far. You can see here there are some sponsorships available if you're interested. Same goes with exhibitors. You can see quite a lot of exhibitors already, and we still have some space open. This is inside the conference hall. This year we also have an outside exhibition area for heavy equipment. So we'll have two different areas for exhibitors this year. If you're not aware of our magazine, we have a digital Geo Outlook magazine. This was put on hold for a couple of years, and it came back last year. We're publishing twice per year, January and July, hopefully moving to quarterly in the next year or so. So the next issue is coming up next month. It'll come out the end of July. We have 4 great articles, and we also have a lot of other information in that magazine. So make sure to watch for that. If you're not seeing emails from IGSPA, please let us know, because this is your way to get notified that that magazine is published. And we are working with B&P Media. If you're not familiar with them, they're the publisher for the Engineered Systems, for ACHR News, and many more. So that gives us a reach of over 50,000. And if you're looking at possibility for advertising, it's really a great way to get the word out about your products and services. If you haven't checked out our new membership program, there are a lot of changes, many new levels, from a directory-only listing, which helps get your name out there, to business memberships, benefactor upgrades, and now we have retired memberships as well as student rates. So a lot of different options out there, and members do get discounts on certification, on conferences, publications, and so forth. If you haven't been to the new member portal yet, this was just released in April. Lots of new updates. What I like best is it looks very similar to the old one, but it has a lot more data, especially from the membership and certification side of things. So you can go into your account, find out what your memberships are, even look at your certification expiration dates and numbers and so forth. So a lot more information, should be a lot easier to navigate as well. There's a brand new IGSPA store for purchasing that. If you're interested in CEUs for this town hall webinar, just simply send your name and email address in chat or in the Q&A, and we will record those. And in fact, they'll show up now in the new member portal. There's another option for obtaining CEUs. This isn't necessary if you're watching live today, but if you're watching this recording, you can enter in this webinar code when you submit your request for CEUs. Just send those to info@igspA.org, and you'll be able to get the same credits watching this as a recording as you would watching it live. Just some general housekeeping. If you would, please put your questions in chat or Q&A. And at the end of John's presentation, I'll read those questions and we'll address those as time allows. We have had some challenges with Teams and questions. So some security settings don't allow you to use the chat feature, but you may have a message pop up like the one on the screen. Just click OK. Hopefully that lets you use chat. If you can't use chat, we've opened up Q&A. Hopefully you can use chat. If all else fails, raise your hand and I will unmute your microphone. So hopefully we've taken care of those challenges. A disclaimer and potential conflict of interest, and then we will turn this over to our speaker. The upcoming presentation represents the opinion of the presenter and does not represent any official position, opinion, or endorsement of any products or services by IGSPA or its members. IGSPA Town Halls and Dig Deeper webinars are for member updates and education on the latest information in the geothermal heat pump industry and are not meant to endorse one technology or brand over another. It is the presenter's responsibility to disclose any conflict of interest or position that may arise in the content of the webinar. So with that, I thank LoopTech again for sponsoring this webinar, and I will read John's bio, and we'll turn it over to John for the presentation. John Mullen from Radiant Panel RPA, Radiant Professionals Association, is our speaker today. John brings a new dynamic to the plumbing and mechanical industry, leveraging 2 decades of distinctive leadership experience for intelligent and sustainable systems. As a 4th-generation plumber, he has advanced from an apprentice to a company executive, managing complex projects at every level. Currently, John is the Director of Technical Services and Research at the International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials, IAPMO, and serves as Technical Liaison to the Radiant Professionals Alliance, RPA. He collaborates with industry professionals globally, bringing together leading experts to focus on safety initiatives, address code-related topics, and create technical content for education and advocacy, continuing his family's tradition of enhancing public plumbing safety. It's my pleasure to introduce John Mullins. Thank you so much, and it's all yours, John.
All right, thank you. Can you hear me all right? Hear me good?
Hear you
all right,
fine.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you, Jeff and Greg. Thank you guys at IGSPA for bringing me on here today to kind of share a little bit about what I wanted to talk about here about the RPA. So this talk will cover the RPA's recent work and what we've got planned next. You'll learn how our committees, along with our partners, are pushing the envelope on new technologies and practices in the plumbing and mechanical industry. We'll discuss real-world impacts of our collaboration, showing how they enhance our ability to innovate and lead. So this is really going to be a kind of an overview of the RPA. I'm going to tell you guys who we are, what we do, and how to get involved, and why I'm here presenting to you guys here at IGSPA, and then how our partnerships are growing together and how our memberships are going to start working together in the future. So this talk is called The Lions in Action, Partnerships Driving Progress, and that is the theme of today's talk. Is the RPA is an alliance, and the idea of our group is to break down those silos and get everybody working together. And that's a big part of what I push for out in our industry, to cause less confusion, to just move us forward in the right direction. So again, that's the theme for today's talk, and I'll go through some of the projects that we're working on. All right, so I already had a brief introduction here. You can scan this QR code. There'll just be I'll say it up front, it's pretty interactive in terms of webinar. I have a lot of QR codes throughout this presentation, so feel free to take your phone out and scan. There'll be plenty of opportunities to reach me in different directions and also kind of see some of the projects that we're actually working on in live time through some of these QR codes. Jeff had mentioned I'm a 4th-generation plumber by trade. Came up in the business. I was a contractor in New York City for a long time. Had a lot of folks working for me, and during the COVID administration, I went into the emergency rather. I went into work for New York Presbyterian Hospital for a brief period of time, and learned a whole lot about regulatory compliance and this whole other side of the industry, which I'm having a ton of fun with, working at IAPMO Group. So I'm the Director of Technical Services and Research there, and I get to do a lot of really fun projects and work with a lot of really, really interesting people who, really kind of changing the industry, and I'm really proud to be a part of that. So, and I just want to thank you all for being part of that with me. So, Feel free to scan that QR code. It'll take you to my LinkedIn, share around some of the articles that I've written over the past couple of years so you guys can get a feel of who I am and what I do. I'm the technical liaison for the Radiant Professionals Alliance and all of our respective committees. And this is a new endeavor for me, about 18 months or so in the making. The RPA has been around for a long time, but it's very new to me. I'm a big proponent of water as energy, and that's kind of been the focus of our campaigns here. And hopefully we can get a lot of you folks and other organizations working with us, alongside us, and kind of driving down that road together. So again, just the alliance is very important to me. Getting us working together is very, very important. I'm like to break down those walls and make change. So feel free to reach out to me directly through this QR code, and we'll get jumping into it here. So to discover the Radiant Professionals Alliance, we've been around for 30 years, dedicated to superior leadership, fostering awareness and innovation technologies through education, products, standards, and public initiatives. So 30 years this organization has been around. Predates me by a lot. Like I said, I've only been here about 18 months, but I like to consider this RPA 2.0, and I'm really excited about for all the things that we have coming up. We are a hub of experience, ideas, and information working to advance radiant heating, cooling, and thermal energy networks utilizing hydronics. Hydronics isn't only our focus, but it's a big focus for us here. The idea of water as energy through thermal energy networks and radiant heating and cooling is a big decarbonization effort that is, finally starting to pick up steam again in the industry. And I think it's an appropriate time for our group to get back involved and start talking about how we can work better together with all of you guys kind of focusing on the same efforts. So again, this is the IATMO group bringing back to life the Radiant Professionals Alliance, who's been around for 30 years. Some of you may know us as the Radiant Panel Association, which again way predates me. But we've got a whole bunch of new stuff to talk about here for the RPA and where we plan to go over the next couple of years, and it's really exciting. So we're growing. Every year at AHR, I give a State of the Alliance. This is be my second AHR this year, so it's second annual. So I'll give it a little bit of an update. Actually, I'm going to share a couple of my slides from that update at today's webinar, just so you can guys be aware of a little bit more about the group, a little bit more about the big breadth of what it is we're doing. So, State of the Alliance, every year I give it, like I mentioned, and it kind of is just an update. Right now we have 100 classic members and 12 premium members. Later on in the presentation, I'll kind of go through what a classic member is and what a premium member is, and kind of give you guys a little bit of an idea of what it is you get when you come to work with us and join our association. We have active committees all over the place now, aimed at driving partnerships and progress with the Alliance in action. We have 3 active committees up and running at the moment, and I'll dig into those projects and what it is we're working on a little later in the presentation, in the hopes that some of you guys will join and work with us. So again, this stuff doesn't happen without all of you guys. We are a membership organization, the RPA, under the umbrella of the IATMO group. And again, this is really just a member-driven organization focused on pushing education, networking, and sharing ideas. So it's a great opportunity to work together outside of your respective organizations and again form that alliance. So for me, being a new guy to the RPA, I kind of had to do a little bit of a deep dive. Like I said, it's been around for 30 years. So 30 years, I don't know who the members are, who they've been, and what we plan to attract. So every year I try to send out a survey. I know everybody gets tired of surveys. Some people don't respond to them. Luckily, I had about 25 to 30% response on this survey. So I got a little bit of data I could share with you today about who our members are. But again, there's really only one way to kind of do that without getting all 100+ members in the room and having an open conversation. Every year, I'm going to ask the same general questions and just kind of watch those needles tick. Report back to all of my members in terms of what we are and where we're going. And I think that's kind of my only way of taking an approach at this right now for a larger group like this. And so I'll dig into who our members are so I could share with you what we look like from a demographic point perspective. So a couple questions. What describes your role in the industry? So I asked these folks, what do you do in the industry? And turns out a lot of our members are contractors and manufacturers of equipment. Right now, it looks like on the chart that it's kind of equal, but it's not really so. We have a lot more contractors than we do manufacturers. So again, I had about 30% response on this. So I'm hoping my next survey will be a lot more interactive. But we are a pretty large group, about 112 at this point, and mostly made up of contractors and manufacturers. Next question I asked was, how many years have you been in the Radiant Professionals Alliance? Again, this group has been around for 30 years, way longer than I've been involved. So turns out a lot of the repeat members have been here a really long time. So about 10% of our members have only been here for less than 3 years. So a couple of them are new, 3 to 5 years, about the same, about 10%. And then a lot of our members here are really within that 6 to 10, that 16 to 20 sweet spot. That people have been doing this a really, really long time, focused in on this advocacy work of bringing thermal energy networks, geothermal, using hydronics, all these basically the same campaign that I was talking about earlier of using water as energy in this perfect climate for decarbonization. And you folks have been working on this for a long, long time. So it's time for us all to get the band back together and get back in the room and start pushing these efforts forward together. So that's kind of the reason why I wanted to get a grasp of who I'm working with here and how long everybody's been working on it, because that inherent history is again predates me, and I need you all. So we look for that. We look for that cooperation and appreciate it very much. I asked what age demographic you fell under. So this one got a lot of laughs when I presented this one. I got no responses from anybody under 45. And I don't know if that was just tech or if it was very telling of what the industry trends are looking like at this moment. But I'm a big fan of succession planning, and if anybody's talked to me outside of this type of setting, I think open sourcing good information is one of the most important things you can do in this world. And for our industry specifically, passing it on to the next generation is key. We want to keep our craft alive. We want to keep the engineering portions alive. We need to keep on enhancing and innovating. And the way we do that is by bringing younger folks to the table. So a big part of what I'm trying to do here at RPA is get some students involved, get some apprenticeship involved, and see how we can mentor some of these younger folks coming up through the ranks, whether they're contractors, designers, engineers, whatever. We have a place, and we have a mentor for you. So that's kind of the goal here with this organization is messaging, sharing, and education. So if we can, kind of reach back and pull somebody up who's coming up the ranks, this is where we want to do it. And unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of younger staff, so I'm in the recruitment mode right now, and I'm trying to get some young folks involved, and we'd be happy to take you. And I tell everybody involved, bring your younger staff members from your office, bring your sons, your daughters, anybody interested in the industry, put them in touch with me. I'd be happy to work with them. We have a bunch of really cool things going on. So demographics a little older. If you could add one membership benefit, what would that be? So, this one, not too surprising. Webinars are popular. This is the reason why we're all on this webinar today. These are very easy to digest. The information lives there inherently on places like YouTube and LinkedIn and all the other places. So anytime, webinars get created, they last a long time, which is nice. So that's actually something that our membership wanted to see a lot more of. Things that they can kind of go back to, pick apart, look at, maybe even revamp for future as some of this stuff is living and breathing changes all the time with regulatory environments. Conference access. A lot more people after COVID want to get back out into those conferences, get back out into the events, which we love. We love shaking hands with you guys and seeing you guys out in person. It's a much different experience actually seeing my members in person. And so a lot of the folks want a little bit of that as well. And then access to PR and marketing. I thought that was kind of interesting. We're in a very, very digital age right now, and kind of getting that campaign and getting that marketing messaging across in a really simplistic, fundamental type of way, a very lean kind of way, is something that I want to work on here with this group. I mean, we have a lot to share on this side of the industry. And I think for a lot of years, the messaging was a little bit fractured. So the point of this alliance is getting us all together, putting our minds together, and then figuring out how we can come up with digestible content that is both educational and proactive in getting people engaged in what it is that we're doing here. So I thought that was kind of interesting that a lot of them wanted some digital content, which I thought was really cool. So that works for me. So here's a little bit of a kind of an overview of who the members are. So long-standing individual volunteers, industry volunteers, I should say. Owners and operators of plumbing and mechanical companies. A lot of us are owners, about 100 of them, contractors. So we got access to a lot of these contractors doing these projects. Mid to late career professionals. That's I'm being generous there. So I'd like to make this young to late career professionals in the future, if you would all be willing to help me do so. Prefers webinars and online education, attends code hearings and industry seminars and events. That's another very important one, and we'll dig into some of the committee work as it pertains to code hearings and industry seminars. And then most importantly to me is wants to share valuable information with the next generation. I could say this over and over again. We have to pass it back. We have to reach back, and we have to pull up some of these younger folks. So I encourage our members and you guys as well to bring in people from your office, the young ones. Bring them in. Let's see what we can do with them. Maybe they have a talent you guys don't even know about yet. So A little bit of the membership application. So when you go to our website, radiantpros.org, you can pull up our membership application, and we're going to be revamping our entire website over the next month. So we'll have a new membership portal. We've recently updated our voting portal. We have a whole lot going on the digital side of what it is that we're looking like out into the public here in this revamp, this 2.0 version of RPA. But this is what our classic membership categories look like at the moment. We have on the left-hand side of the classic membership categories, it's the associates and the manufacturing distributors. Those are both voting positions. Those get you votes at the advisory committee level for projects and any type of funding-related efforts that we try to put together as a group. Off to the right, you have individual, organization, and IATMO associates. These are our lower tier memberships that most of them are for people who are starting out, individual members who are just interested in learning. And then the IATMO associates are for the IATMO members. So if you're an IATMO member, you do get a discount on becoming a full classic RPA member as well. Just to go through some of the membership benefits, you get a listing in the RPA directory, which is pretty cool. So you get one copy of the installation guidelines each year. And that's a fun one. That's an old book from 2010 that I'll talk about a little bit later that we're revamping currently for my membership here. You get discounts on the RPA bookstore and seminars that we are going to start working on. We do have an IATMO bookstore at the moment, and you guys are able to use member benefits to use it there at the IATMO bookstore. Government relations update. So we have a pretty robust government relations team at IATMO. And the great part about being under the IATMO umbrella is that we get to use all of the IATMO group's features and functions, and it's a large breadth in the organization generally. And our government relations team really is really keyed in on a state by state level and what's going on in our field and our group. So we're going to put together the policy committee back together and get some of our GR partners back in the room. And this has a lot to do with some of the MOUs and some partners that I'm going to mention later on, and how it is that we're going to try to work together on the government relations side of things and how we can actually form better policy together. The RPA has a quarterly newsletter. Every month you'll get that. Every quarter you'll get that. There's one coming out next week, I believe, in June. You get one free webinar per quarter, which again was a membership request. You get the IATMO newsletter subscription, a certificate, and then you get a couple physical copies of new magazines as well. So, not too many people actually get physical magazines anymore. A lot of it's gone digital, but something about holding a regular magazine I kind of still enjoy, especially if you write a lot and you like to kind of get them in the mail with your articles and your information in it, which is most of our members. Again, we're the Rating Professionals Alliance, so a lot of our members are professionals. They're the subject matter experts in this space. So for them to be able to write through us and then actually get them in the mail, just as part of their membership, is a kind of a cool thing to have. So membership cards and digital badges are also offered, and then the discounts on IATMO publications. Excuse me. So here's the membership category for our premium segment. So we have an associate category and a design professional category. We have a dealer contractor category, and we have a manufacturer distributor category. You'll notice this little logo here, Hydronics Industry Alliance. You might recognize it. You get automatic enrollment into this group when you are a premium member with the RPA. So to join the Hydronics Industry Alliance, you have to be an RPA member. The premium member gets a voting rights, and you get automatic enrollment directly into the HIAC. The HIA, we'll talk about it a little bit later. That committee has a lot of really interesting things going on in terms of messaging and content creation and software creation and applications through best software. I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But this is where most of our manufacturer partners live. This is where we get into a room a couple times a year, and we talk about what it is it's going to look like and how we are going to revamp and reorganize the best software, which every year it's a living, breathing piece of software that has to be updated as new technology evolves. So it's really key for our manufacturer partners to get involved in this aspect because, it keeps a pulse on what's new and what's out there that can actually help building owners make decisions. And that's the real idea of the best software. And I'll talk a little bit more about it later about how it works. We do have a PR cooperative in this side of the premium membership category. That again focuses on messaging. We have a little bit of an advisory group. That's that cooperative there of some younger folks who are involved with SEO and social media and different types of things that help out when you're trying to grow your digital presence. And as I get a little older, we want to keep bringing in some of these younger folks in who know how to keep a pulse on that kind of stuff. So the PR cooperative is just my first grab at trying to get some folks in the room to teach us about how to get our messaging out there in a smarter, more robust way. So these folks are working. They're helping us. They're helping us form our vision and our look. And it's you'll start to see it over the next couple of years, and it'll really start to shine, hopefully. So. And then most importantly, you get 6 employees when you're on a premium category. This one gets overlooked quite a bit. So if you're an RPA associate member, say you're a manufacturer partner, you get to bring 6 people from your office, and they get all the same benefits that you get. You only get one vote since you're one company, but you get to represent that company, and you get 6 members involved that can join our committees, respective committees, and get involved with some of our projects. So I urge all of our members, especially in this category, bring in 6 more people, bring in those young folks, even if they're not interested yet. Let's see if they can get interested. We'll get them involved, bring them to our meetings, and see if they find something that perks them up. So this is who our premium members are today. IGSHPA is I put them on the top here. We have an MOU with you guys. And again, I just want to thank Greg and Jeff for being so helpful and being involved with our process and actually joining our meetings and just being there as in support. And I try to do the same for you guys as well. I mean, you guys are doing big things for us, and we appreciate it. We have the Climate Control Group, Water Furnace, Taco Comfort Solutions, the Unico System, Nexus Valves, Albert's Hydronic Flow Control, Plastic Pipe Institute, Tungsteel Corporation, Federated Insurance, and Surge Digital Marketing. So these are our 12 premium member partners right now. Before the 2.0 got started, we only had about 6 members. So again, we've about doubled our manufacturer partners in our premium member side of things, and we're hoping to continue that growth as we move forward throughout the years. This little banner you see on the bottom is kind of what you see on our newsletters and any other promotional activities that we put out there. We try to share our members' logos as often as we can to make it known that you guys are part of this alliance and working with us and alongside us. And again, driving down that road together and not down separate lanes. So Alliance in action. This is really, this is happening. It's been happening. It's in action. 2023, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the International Ground Source Heat Pump Association. That's you guys, expanding supports for each other's members and initiatives. So, the idea is, again, to get all of our smart folks working on your team, my team, other teams, working in an alliance together, working on projects and initiatives together. Again, driving down that road together to make big change processes together. So last year was a big year. This is our first MOU that we've signed as a revamped organization, and we're really excited because we're going to continue to grow this organizational effort and start working with other organizations to break down those silos. Speaking of which, we have a new alliance. So 2024, the RPA signed a memorandum of understanding with the Geothermal Rising Group. They're an organization that's been around for 50 years doing geothermal advocacy work. And I think that this fits in really, really well with what the RPA Policy Committee used to do, which was really focusing on a state-by-state advocacy for teaching our stakeholders how the work that we do through hydronics and geothermal systems and thermal energy networks can really help decarbonize our world and just get us a seat at the table when it comes to using water as energy in this weird changing world where electrification has become a really big topic. So again, it's a great way to educate and teach our stakeholders and teach our people who are decision makers ultimately how we can do things a little bit differently. So again, working with other organizations to build up this big picture effort is really, really key. And I'm excited to work with both IGSHPA and Geothermal Rising on some of these efforts over the next couple of years. So a little bit about our committee. So I'll go through some of the work that we're going to be doing over this year and next, and we'll talk a little bit about the committees that we have up and running. So there's 3 of them at the moment. The RPA Advisory Committee, they focus on professional education, contests and awards, event planning, and publication creation. This group recently got back together. We have about 15 people on this committee right now, and we just nominated a chairperson. That's Jim Kenzel of the American Supply Association, and we're hoping to get more people involved in this group because, again, this is where we have an opportunity to take some of our members and our contractor partners and really get them to kind of share and and show what it is that they're doing with the products and the standards and all the things that we've been working on the back end of the business. These are the folks putting it in. These are the folks getting it installed and up and running. We want to actually share their stories. It helps them. It helps us. Those case stories really help, kind of share what it is we're trying to do and the success stories. And to be honest with you, I'm not afraid to share the failures either if we can do it in such a way that actually makes sense. So, again, this group is really going to focus in on that big picture messaging at the advisory committee, coming up with the publications, products, programs, and yeah, all of the above pretty much. And that's going to be headed by Jim Kenzel, and most of our premium members are automatically enrolled into that advisory committee and working on some projects. So I mentioned publication creation in there, and I talked a little bit earlier about one of our membership benefits, which is the installation guidelines manual. So when I first started back with RPA, I was looking back at all of our products that we used to have and all the books that we used to use and publish. And this one kind of stuck out as me as a really great tool. And I kept hearing from our members that this little manual, this little pocket manual, was so useful out in the field for inspectors and designers and all the like, because it kind of just touched all this stuff in a very specific niche kind of way. And it was written by the professionals in our industry. So it was very well trusted. So this publication is actually being revamped as we speak, and we're hoping to have this debuted in early 2025 with the 2025 version. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. So maybe we'll have some really good information written in there that'll be able to be utilized by other committees in the future. The Hydronics Industry Alliance Committee, I talked about them a little bit, but I got another slide coming up after that, and I'll mention that as well a little bit more in depth. But these guys really focus on the best software and our campaign messaging and advocacy work. So I'll talk a little bit about what best software is in the next slide. So that's an exciting one. The RPA Policy Committee. So this is one that's been around for a long, long time, that had a lot of stride over the years, and it made a lot of really, really great changes in our country. And again, I want to pick up off that momentum and keep that going. So our GR team at IATMO has been willing to support us here, and they've been trying to help us with coming up with monthly quarterly reporting, and helping us kind of look at this at a state by state level and how we can get certain things adopted, whether it's through the UPC, UMC, geothermal code, hydronics code. The policy committee is going to focus on the education side and the advocacy work needed to make those changes. So, and most of you guys are involved in that code cycle, so you guys are very well engaged as well. So anybody who's interested in that kind of stuff, we'd love to have you. The policy committee takes a certain type. And again, we got a couple things planned for the year. We are looking to do a lobbying day up on Capitol Hill this year. So that's going to be fun, and hopefully we'll get some good turnouts, and maybe in the future we can join forces with some of the other organizations that are doing the same. If you're interested in joining one of these committees, you can scan that little QR code right there that says sign up, and that'll get you right to the form. You can pick which one you'd like to engage with, and that'll get you directly in touch with me and on that roster. So I'll talk a little bit about the Hydronics Industry Alliance. Again, I got another QR code up there in the corner. That QR code will take you right to the download for the best software. So the best software stands for Building Efficiency System Tool. And it's a really, really neat tool. It is it's a licensed tool by the RPA through Takeo Comfort Solutions. And what it does is it does comparisons for your building types. So you can plug in a building, you put in all your parameters of the building, location, and all the like. And what it does is it spits out four side-by-side comparisons of systems that show you the stats and all the costs and the life cycle reporting and so much more, fossil fuel use, energy use, and it does it in a really graphical, visual way that is really, really nice when it comes to talking about pre-design, right? So I mentioned earlier that we have a lot of design professionals as well as members here. And where this comes in handy is on the sell. When you have to actually talk to somebody about what they want to do in their building, and you don't want to go through the entire process of going through the whole engineering function. This tool really kind of shows it in a side-by-side way. It can show you what those comparisons look like and why on a line-by-line basis. So if you guys want to play around with that, download from that QR code. Throw in your building that you're sitting in right now and see what it comes up with. That's the way I've used it. I did a demo last year at the IATMO conference, the 94th annual conference in San Antonio. And what I did was I actually demoed the building we were all standing in. It was a hotel. and it showed a whole bunch of really interesting information about how they could actually decarbonize the building that we were standing in, and what their peak energy looked like in the wintertime when they were using fossil fuels. I mean, it's pretty fascinating, and it's eye-opening, to say the least. So it's a free tool that the RPA offers, and it's through the Hydronics Industry Alliance Committee that product gets updated regularly. So our group works on that pretty consistently, and it's a big effort and a big push to keep this product functioning, because it tells the whole story in a very interesting way. So I encourage you guys to play around with it. If you see anything interesting in there, please bring it to my attention. And if anybody's interested in software application development, specifically as it pertains to stuff like this, again, this would be another great opportunity to join this committee and get involved in some applications that are really going to change the landscape of our world and the future of our work. So yeah, we're really excited about this software, and we're hoping to have another update this year with a couple big features for all of us to debut. So again, stay tuned for that. This group is focused on the best software and all the like. So pretty fascinating. Voice of the industry. So a lot of what we do at the RPA is, again, trying to get our voice out there. It's magazines, it's webinars like these, it's AHR education speakers, it's panels. Any way that we can create new content that is digestible is what we're trying to do here. So I'm trying to build up a couple different avenues and channels that we can share that voice. So the voice is really what we're going to do, what we share through our writing. So plumbing and mechanical radiant comfort report, and then the IATMO Living magazine were the two benefits I mentioned earlier, where you get the physical copies in your mailbox a couple times a year. So if you are a member of the RPA, you have opportunities here to submit your articles, columns, stories, and we'll help you guys share your story. I mean, that's what we want to do here. Again, we're trying to make that messaging loud and proud, and talk about it in such a way that is digestible even to the people who are non-technical. We want to make it known that there are other options to the electrification and decarbonization, narratives you hear out there in the world. So it's really an opportunity to write about it from a different type of perspective, and share it through the RPA. So we encourage you guys to join, because you get an opportunity to do all this stuff here and write with us and share around your expertise as you have in the past, and as all of you guys continue to digest. I mean, we all read these articles, we all read them. They're all members of some organization, so we're happy to have them here at ours. The Radiant Pro channels. So this is something we've been working on. We're really building up our YouTube channel after AHR last year. And each year at AHR, we're going to do education sessions, panels, and all sorts of different types of video recordings, trying to do it at a higher production level, to make some of this stuff longer lasting, and then again, replicatable in the future. Because like I said earlier on, like, regulatory compliance changes all the time, the environment changes all the time, so does the information. But a lot of you guys, there's a lot of the speakers and the expertise and that inherent knowledge lives with you. And we want to give you guys an opportunity to get up there and share it all, and keep those messages and those presentations and those talks updated. So the way we're going to do that is through all these speeches, quarterly newsletters, magazines, YouTube series, and social media. Again, digging deep into some of that messaging. So we're just really going to be coming about being that voice, being that visual, having people understand what it is we do and why. If anybody's interested in more additional advertising opportunities, the QR code there, but the RPA has their own advertising opportunities, like I mentioned earlier. So again, it's an opportunity to get yourself out there, share your information, and advertise. It's a pretty affordable way to advertise in terms of membership costs. So, all right, I'm coming to a close here, and then I'll leave a few minutes towards the end for Q&A. I think I'm wrapping up a little early, but I talk fast. I'm from New York originally. Trying to slow it down a little bit for you here. So we have some our upcoming RPA meetings. So next virtual meeting. So we've been doing a couple quarterly virtual meetings per year, and I love what you guys are doing here at IGSHPA, and we hope to kind of add to that knowledge set. And we are doing our own virtual meeting webinar sessions, and our first speaker is Lance McNevin on July 15th at 12 p.m. We hope you'll join us. You guys can sign up for that at that QR code. That'll get you our newsletter, which has all of the links. So in-person sessions, we have twice per year. We actually get together in the room, IATMO annual conferences and the AHR Expo. So last year we met for the first time as a group. We had a pretty decent turnout, about 20 people turned out for that. And we finally started organizing all of these committees that I went through with you today and kind of coming up with the big picture idea of what our long-term, short-term goals are. So these in-person sessions are really, really important if you're a member to get involved in that planning and how it is that we are going to be perceived over the next couple of years and what it is we want to do. Um, AHR Expo, you'll see a sign up coming out for me really soon. We are recruiting speakers for the education sessions that we do. The RPA and IATMO does support and sponsor speakers for the AHR Expo. So you'll see a sign up coming out really soon. And we'd be happy to have any of you, members or not, speaking on behalf of the RPA about any of these ideas. And hopefully that we can provide more technical education out into the ether and come up with more content creation at the same time. So these opportunities to speak in public give us an opportunity to create content, whether it's through film, audio recordings, and whatnot. Again, just an opportunity to share voices, share technical information in really clean, digestible ways. And we're hoping to do that through the advisory committee and all the other groups that we've started to put together over the past year throughout the RPA. So these in-person sessions are really where the magic happens. So please join us this year at IATMO Annual Conference. We have a 95th annual conference this year in Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. It's going to be very interesting. We'll have a whole bunch of sessions. We'll have keynote speakers. We'll have evening events out, and that's for the IATMO 95th annual conference. RPA has a business meeting, and so does the HIA. Both of those meetings will happen on the 25th, smack dab in the middle of the week. And we're excited to sit down with you all in person and kind of talk about what's next for us and how we could work better together with all the other organizations like IGSHPA and Geothermal Rising and all the other groups that we're starting to work together with and see if we can move that needle. So, yep, we hope that you join us in these in-person sessions and our virtual sessions. And again, we're really excited to have you guys. And thank you again, Jeff and Greg, for bringing me on today to kind of give an overview about what it is we're doing here and share with you guys, and hope that you'll consider joining our efforts and be part of the alliance. You know, it's really it's exciting to get this 2.0 off the ground, and it wouldn't happen without any of you guys. So appreciate y'all very much. So I'll open it up to questions and answers.
Great presentation, John. Thank you so much. It helps to understand, what RPA is doing. I love the term "water is energy," and thank you for continuing to say Radiant Professionals Alliance so that I don't call it Radiant Panel Association. I guess that's how long I've been around in the industry. I got to make sure I call it by the right name. It looks like we do have some questions. Our first question is from Richard. Does RPA offer design and application courses?
Design and application courses. So not directly through the RPA, but the ASSE has a hydronics course that was pretty prominent back in the day. And one of the efforts of the advisory committee is to provide the ASSE group a report this year. So we are going to provide them with an update report. We are going to try to get some of our members involved in those efforts through the ASSE programs and try to kind of provide that overlap. Again, just breaking down those walls, getting people in the right groups and the right committees that have respective fits for those things. So there will be more training coming out in the future. We do have the best software as well for design and engineering. I mentioned that a little earlier. It's kind of a plug and play kind of thing. You can do that on your own. It doesn't require a whole lot of training, but if anybody wants training, we have plenty of YouTube channels, and we also have iatmolearn.org that has a bunch of really great content that's been living on there for a while. So yeah, plenty of opportunities already and more to come.
Excellent. Thank you, John. We have a comment from Lance. The webinar on July 15th is on design of hydronic snow and ice melt systems, and we'll have design advice. So it sounds like we have some things moving in that direction, which is great. And one of the reasons for our MOU with RPA, which is really exciting, is I think we have the opportunity to work together on training. IGSPA has always concentrated on the ground side of, I guess you want to call it, hydronics. And there are a lot of other hydronics that we can take advantage of, as you mentioned. So the combination of ground source heat pumps and radiant floor or chilled water, whatever however you want to use your hydronic system, I think there's a great opportunity there. I don't know if you want to comment on that while we're waiting on some other questions.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I think it's great to get some of our speakers and our members, your members, even out there, just educating the public. I love those deeper dives you guys do too, because they're so technical and they get people thinking. Get the people thinking about how these hybrid solutions can actually come to life. And that's what I like about this group and our groups working together is that we get these idea think tanks. And not everything's a one size fits all type of solution. And when it comes to hydronics and water solutions, we all know that. So getting involved with these hybrid solutions and talking about it like that in a more open way and this more not scarcity mindset. It's more of a feast mindset for all of us, where we can all kind of have a seat at the table and kind of push that narrative of water as energy. Like I said, it's a big time for us right now as hydronic folks and geothermal folks to get involved in this conversation that's being had nationally. So the more information that we put out there through our members, through you guys who are really technical and eloquently spoken, I think is really, really key to making changes. So yeah,
Well, that's
we're open
great.
to
Thank you.
more of those speaker opportunities.
Thank you, John. I see Jay has his hand up. He may have trouble with the chat or Q&A, so I'm going to turn off his mic. Jay, you should be able to speak now. Looks like you might be muted. I've allowed your mic.
I got it now. Thanks. So I just wanted to point out that BEST software, we use that regularly in evaluations of systems, and we work a lot with NYSERDA on projects in New York, and they love it to give side-by-side comparisons with hydronic versus DX systems and so forth. So I just wanted to let everybody know that that BEST software is really a great shortcut to get the front end work done on these systems, and just really highly recommend it. And that was just it, just that comment.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah, and that's a free download, as I understand it. John, is that right?
That's right. Yeah. I can go back to that screen, or you guys can reach out to me and I get you a direct download. But yeah, it's a free resource that we put out into the public. We're very happy to share. I think it's a pretty impressive program. We are going to keep on making this thing newer age and more up to speed with the innovation technologies as they advance. But just the idea of having that conversation early, that pre-design conversation early, really kind of can set the tone when it comes to making decisions on how we're going to build a new building or redo a building. And like Jay had mentioned, it's getting a lot of really great receptivity around the country right now. So we're hoping to expand it. We're hoping people start to use it. It is free, and yeah, we're excited to be able to give it out like that. So.
Okay, very good. Well, I don't see any other questions at the moment. Is there anything else based upon that discussion, John, that maybe you wanted to point out? We still have about 10 minutes.
Sorry about that. I talk a little fast. I tell you,
No,
I'm a New Yorker who
quite all
moved to
right.
the South. I'm learning how to slow down my speech a little bit, but I'm doing the best I can. But I would just encourage everybody to keep abreast of what it is we're doing by signing up to our newsletters. I put plenty of links in there. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you know what's going on with me, where I'm at, where I'm working on. So AHR, really, I'm trying to get some speakers out there. You'll see sign up for that. Love to have you guys on. Yeah, that's really all I got for you guys today. And again, I'm just really excited for our organizations to be working together like this. And thank you guys for the opportunity.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, John. That was great information, and I'm thrilled to work with RPA. Appreciate everything you guys are doing. Thanks everyone for joining us today for our town hall. I appreciate the time. Stay tuned to RPA's and IGSPA's website for the latest news, and we will see you all next time. Have a great day. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you all.